Whew. We're done.
We're done. All right, hey guys, not gonna lie here. It's 1:10 a.m.
We just
here.
got back from the closing ceremony / party with all the players from the Reykjavik Open.
Yes, and we are wearing matching shirts, although we didn't go to the party wearing matching shirts because that would have been lame. But we wore it just for you guys to get a feel for this tournament. Wow, what
Now
can I say?
I'm gonna humble brag a little bit. You got your shirt as a souvenir. I got this for free because apparently my game won the Brilliancy Prize. Actually, this was funny. I walked into round 10 today, late a few minutes, and then Isaac comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, you won the Brilliancy Prize yesterday." I'm like, "Oh, wasn't expecting it. Totally missed it, but that was nice."
Yeah, that must have been out of nowhere for you. I know you thought that Geary had a good shot at winning.
Yeah, I mean,
that
Geary
crazy
played
game
a
against Jabava.
incredible game against Jabava, and Shirov won in just like classic fashion. I mean, okay, my game was also nice, but it was just like straightforward King's Indian, no big deal.
Well, I mean, okay, this Bishop F8 move is going to be talked about for a while. I'm sure people who we already know of are already working on it. We don't want to reveal any names here because, of course, you guys are up to your own no good
secrets.
But okay, I mean, this was a long tournament, but I think it ended optimistically for both of us. Yesterday we were both 2-0, and today we finished 2-0. So I finished 5 out of 10.
You finished 4-0. Wow, yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't finish 4-0. I finished 2-0 to close out.
As did I.
Yeah, you did too.
So the two
but you finished the second half 4.5 out of 5. Which
that's
is way
right.
more impressive.
Yeah. I won the last round against International Master Ferhat from Turkey. Not a super amazing game, but I did some things very well. I think it was actually pretty interesting.
Right, yeah, your technique in this game was pretty interesting. And fortunately for you, it meant that first place on tie breaks were under 2,400, and sixth place on tie breaks, you were the top person with 7.5 to finish in the Reykjavik Open.
I ended up winning 2 prizes, which is unheard of in U.S. tournaments.
Yeah, I remember you got the under 2,400 prize, and you're like, oh, I guess I'm not going back. But then instead, they're calling off names. You have people like Zoltan Almashi, you have Niels Gandelius, you have all these big names, and all of a sudden Kostya Kavutskiy.
Yeah,
you're up there.
And best on tiebreaks.
And
the first tiebreak was number of wins, which I had 7. Everyone else is drawing their GM opponents.
Yeah, you only had the one draw to Magesh Panchanath.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyways, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
And let's see how we do. All right, so we'll let you go ahead and get started for us.
Right. Okay, so I was playing white in this game, and my opponent is playing all kinds of stuff in the opening, so I was lamenting not knowing what he's going to play, just kind of preparing for everything. He's played Grunfeld, Slav, Queen's Gambit declined. In this game he played Knight of 6, E6. He's going for Nimzo, which is one of his rarer options. I was not expecting this, but I didn't feel like this was such an unpleasant surprise because I feel pretty comfortable against the Queen's Indian. This was my game with Magesh as well.
Right.
So Magesh played Bishop B7. Here Black played Bishop A6. I played B3. And he plays a very tricky move C6, which indicates that he wants to transpose into a Catalan with D5 coming very soon. So here he kind of tricks me in the opening. One of the main lines here is for Black to play Bishop B4 check. White has to play Bishop D2, and then Black goes back to E7. Anyone who studied any theory recently knows it's a very common idea to lure the Bishop to D2. Obviously it's better on B2, and now White has to spend their time moving the Bishop, whereas Black Bishop wants to be on E7 anyways. I think we actually covered this in Magesh's video.
Yeah, we actually did.
Round 8. Here I wanted to play Knight C3, which is the main theoretical try. And the point is that if Black plays C6, White can play D5.
E4.
Sorry, yeah, E4, thank you. And White is doing well. I mean, there's a lot of theory here, but White's bishop can come to D3, and in general, if White is well prepared here, he gets a nice game. If Black plays D5 to stop E4, then White can take here, and Black is forced to capture with the E-pawn. And this is I don't want to say favorable structure for White, but White is happy here because he can play Rook C1 and eventually play against the backward C-pawn. But okay, it's going to be a very balanced game. The move order chosen in the game, however, C6, kind of puts White in an awkward situation. I actually didn't realize my opponent's idea just yet. I think I should have just played Knight C3 here, and we're going to go into a Catalan, which, okay, I know some ideas that I'm not going to be totally lost. But I kind of played bishop g2 on autopilot because it makes sense. And now he gives bishop b4 check, which was quite surprising. Because I totally forgot that he can just do this on this move. Because I, again, want to put my bishop on b2.
Right.
Now I play bishop d2, bishop goes back to e7, and now against knight c3, he can just play d5, and I'm not in time to play e4. The critical difference here is that he can take back with the c pawn. So d5 takes, c takes. Mm-hmm. And this is a better structure for black. Now my bishop on g2 is kind of biting into granite. Knight comes to c6, rook comes to c8. I think black is more than comfortable here. Bishop on a6 is also really well placed. So once he did this, I am already on my own here, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I get up a decent position? I ended up castling, as did he, and I play this move bishop c3, which is a common maneuver to put the knight on d2. I thought also logical is queen c2. He plays d5 and rook d1. And I think it's just going to be like a normal position. Eventually I'll play like bishop f4 and maybe knight e5. The only thing is that the c4 pawn is always hanging, so it's hard to play knight c3 without sacrificing the pawn, although sometimes white can't do that.
Although there are some Catalan lines where you actually do sack this pawn to play e4 and your rook's already on d1, whereas in some, if I recall correctly, in these close Catalan lines, you have to spend a tempo playing rook d1 anyway, so this might not be so bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, that was an idea I considered. I guess I didn't go for it because I'm not sure exactly in which positions white is justified sacrificing a pawn.
Well, here because the bishop's on a6 rather than b7, the idea is that, so if we were to go back through that line, when white plays this idea to play knight to c3,
so let's say here,
yeah, so here knight c3, should black take this pawn, white can play with like e4, and the idea is that when black takes on b3, we play a takes b3, and thus is why we didn't move the a1 rook, we moved the f1 rook, and this is actually kind of annoying on some lines, especially if the knight is still on b8. Here it's a little bit trickier because if black can play with like a5, then I think black is doing okay. But these can be tricky.
Yeah, no, white supposed to get compensation here. I just don't know the nuances, so I didn't want to like just sack a pawn without exactly knowing how to follow up. I lost the game to Anton Kovalyev, Grandmaster from Ukraine, now representing Canada, a few years ago in a very similar position. I just gave this pawn, he took it, defended it, and then won easily. So I just went for something more solid with bishop c3. Castled first. Castles, bishop c3, d5, knight e5, and knight fd7. Of course, black plays this to keep the c6 pawn defended because he can't move the b8 knight just yet. I'm more or less forced to take. Knight takes, knight d2. Honestly, I would have been very happy with the draw in this game because my opponent is 150 points rated. I'm already having an amazing tournament, gaining 30 points. Draw in this game gives me another 5 or 6 points or so. Might secure me some prize. So I'm very happy to keep being solid here. But I realize he's going to try and do something to push.
Right.
Here he comes up with b5 after a long think. I was expecting f5, but this is also very logical. So he's not necessarily threatening to take the pawn because his c6 pawn is hanging. I really wanted to play e4 here at first, but then I realized after takes is knight b6. And my rook on f1 is hanging, and he's just picking up the c4 pawn. He can't take the pawn this way. I mean, he can, but I think white is just going to win the pawn back with like queen e2 or queen a4. I mean, the pawns are so weak, it's a very temporary pawn sacrifice.
Right.
But knight b6 is annoying because he's going to take on c4 with a piece and just have a healthy pawn up.
Of course.
So I decided on rook e1 first. So again, he can't really take because of c6, but he takes once, and he plays knight b6. And here I realize I'm actually might be getting a little bit worse. I have to decide whether I play c5 or I take on d5. If I take on d5, he takes the c pawn, and I just thought my pieces are clunky, for lack of a better word. The rook is coming to c8, the bishop is hanging, this bishop on g2 is doing absolutely nothing. Knight on d2 is also very passive. Its only job is to defend the c4 square.
Right.
So this looked like not a lot of fun. I ended up playing c5 and knight c4. And now white has to make some decisions here because it feels natural to trade the knights, and my only real break in the position is to play e4. Here I'm not sure if my opponent was going to ignore it or not, but the problem is whenever I play e4, d4 becomes a big weakness. So he can take, for example, and put his bishop on d5.
Right.
And even though c6 is weak, it's easier for black to attack d4 with bishop f6 and bringing the rook to the d file.
Funnily enough, this is the same pawn structure I had yesterday with black.
It is, yeah. They're very similar, yeah. So I think I might be just worse there. So I didn't take, and I didn't play e4 myself, although I consider that as well. I ended up just going with rook b1. He played queen c7, and here I played e4. Because now I thought if he takes on d2 to kind of punish me for giving myself a backwards pawn, I take on c4 and then, or e4. Let's say he plays bishop c4. I play bishop f4 with tempo. Now my bishop went from super passive on c3 to a nice piece controlling b8, which means I get the b file uncontested. And queen d7, for example, queen f3, his c6 pawn is under attack, and he's not in time to set up his so-called drift. If he had one move rook d8, he might be doing okay here, but he doesn't. So I take, and when I take, his bishop on e7 is hanging. So he can't take with the e pawn, which would be a nice structure for him. He takes with the c pawn. I mean, I think white is just better after rook b7.
Right, and the idea here, of course, for our viewers who maybe are just trying to learn some endgame ideas here, the c5 pawn is just a strong, protected passed pawn.
Yeah.
And with the rook on the 7th, it's just too much damage.
So it's great for white.
Yes.
So he does not allow that. He ends up just playing rook a b8, just keeping the tension. And so he doesn't take my offer to take the pawn. So instead, I'm just going to take on d5. He takes back, and we get the structure here, which I think we get from like maybe some Caro-Kann position, some Panov, Botvinnik openings. Especially, well, this structure with the pawn on e6 comes from the Botvinnik a lot.
Right.
Here the thing is that white's d4 pawn is a potential weakness, potentially very serious weakness, and I really just need to find a way to activate my pieces to compensate. I found a nice idea here with knight f3. I realized that this knight on c4, it looks nice, but it has maybe a bit more bark than it has bite, because it is not targeting any weaknesses in my position. It's not hitting d4. I'd actually be much more annoyed by this knight if it was sitting on f5, just like putting pressure on me, or b5. Here the knight is just kind of attacking a bunch of empty squares, so I'm just kind of leaving it alone.
Yeah, if we just cut the board in half, kind of like we did during the King's Indian game yesterday, if we only played chess on the queen side, yeah, this knight would be kind of annoying. But the problem for black, of course, is that there's 64 squares. And
it doesn't communicate to the king side. Actually, that becomes pretty important.
Of course.
He played rook b8. So I think this is the moment where the game starts slipping. I still feel like black is more comfortable in the previous position, but this is move 19, so we're 20 moves away from the time control. And he's spending a lot of time on all his moves looking for some kind of way to unbalance the game to play for a win. It's very natural and obvious that he wants to play for a win. He's high rated, there's money on the line, but he spends way too much time here and really over pushes in this sense.
Right.
So I continue with my plan that I didn't mention, bishop f1, pinning the knight to the bishop on a6. And now this is getting... I think white is getting out, and white is perfectly fine. I mean, all my pieces are developed and are on decent squares. Bishop on c3 is passive, but I also realize it's holding everything together. It's preventing black's queen from coming in. So I like the setup I found here. I felt like there was a lot of ways to go wrong for white.
Right.
So bishop f6 he played, and here comes knight e5. Really nice move, not hard to calculate. I'm actually threatening to take a bunch of times on c4, and then play queen a4. For example, if he doesn't take on e5, if he plays a move like queen c8, just to defend the bishop, I take on c4, I trade bishops. Now, as far as just the pieces that were traded, strategically this is great for black because he's left with a much better dark square bishop. But after queen a4, black has no way of defending this pawn.
Right.
And so I'm just going to be a pawn up.
Yeah, and this d4 pawn, at some point you'll like to be able to play for d5, and you'll have a passed pawn on c5.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking we might get something like this. Like maybe he just plays queen d7 here. I take rook d8. And it's going to be super hard for white to do anything with the pass block because he has this blockade.
Perhaps, but the problem is whenever he plays queen d5, you can always trade once for your rook on d7.
Well, he just sits. That would be the idea for black. Just like g6, bishop g7, just literally do nothing.
I mean, couldn't you also play the like rook b3, rook b1? I mean, the b file is going to be a problem if you can get on d7.
Yeah, maybe if he puts a rook on d8. I mean, I'm not really sure. During the game, it felt like if black does this, obviously white is no risk of losing, just a pawn up.
Right.
But I didn't think it would be like an easy conversion at all.
Okay, that's fair.
I thought it would just be actually closer to a draw eventually.
Although here you do have the idea of playing a4, a5, a6, and then put your rook on b7. I think those would be the only way to play for the one.
Yeah, maybe a4. I mean, actually, looking at this now, I think you're probably right. I think I'm underestimating white's chances a little bit. At least I did during the game. But, it wasn't really relevant because, like, 2 moves ago, I'm, like, slightly worse.
Right.
And if I have, like, if I'm playing for 2 results in that position, I'm not really concerned of how good my winning chances are. Mm-hmm. It's more just like, okay, I'm not losing, so that's a good line. I'm totally fine with that. But I think you're right, actually. I think black is kind of passive there. If he takes on e5, I can either take on a6. Mm-hmm. I think I'm fine. I'm turning rook b7. I can also take on e5, and both bishops are hanging. So I was thinking about this line a little bit. Bishop f1, takes, bishop h3, take on g7. I mean, the opposite color bishops in the middle game means that this is going to be really dynamic. But I imagine if I can hold on to this pawn on g7, maybe even like bishop d4, bishop e5.
Right.
I mean, it should be good for white. And I'm a pawn up, it seems. I'm not sure what his best move was, actually, because in your like rook e7 move, I'm threatening to just take and play queen a4. But what we get in the game was very interesting. He took on e5 with the bishop. I took back, and he plays queen c8. And when I was going for this line, I thought minimum I can always bail out by trading for the knight, and we'll get this opposite color bishop's position. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly how drawish it is because queens are still on the board, but I felt like I should be okay there. Then when I got to this position, I realized, wait, I don't have to trade. I actually have some active options here. And given that it's move 22 and he has like 4 minutes left, I think, well, let's take a risk. Let's go for some active play. I have like 20 minutes. I can calculate some lines. Let's put him under pressure.
Right.
And I feel like this is where the game starts to slip. Mm-hmm. So his idea with queen c8 is to defend the bishop and now play a move like knight a3 and trade light squared bishops. If he can trade these bishops, then he has good knight versus bad bishop. Knight comes back to c4. Black is very comfortable. Right. Probably white is okay, but black can definitely push there. Mm-hmm. But I found a clever way to avoid the trade with this very active move, queen h5. Now my queen is very aggressively placed. This knight, as we mentioned, isn't communicating to the king side, neither is the bishop. He plays knight a3 because he doesn't really have another active option here. And the point is I can now come to bishop h3 with tempo.
Right.
So here he's thinking he has 2 main options, queen d8 or queen c7. I think he chose wisely with queen c7 because his queen is going to be able to defend along the 7th rank. Now there are some interesting lines to calculate here. White's main idea is to play e6, as I play in the game. I also want to do a rook lift, rook b4, rook h4, or rook g4, which I think could be very, very dangerous. I haven't analyzed this with an engine. We've been partying since the end of the game, but it seems like white has some very active possibilities here.
Right.
Black's idea is to play either knight c4 or even knight c2 hitting the rook, where the rook doesn't actually have such a good square to go to. So if I play rook ab1 here, for example, he plays knight c2, and my rook on e1 is actually trapped. Mm-hmm. But, okay, I calculate a little bit. I went for e6. Okay, now if he takes the rook on v1, as we were talking earlier, I'm not sure what's best for white, but minimum I have bishop takes g7, and I can give a perpetual check.
Right.
Maybe white has something better here. I'm not sure. I didn't see anything during the game. I still don't see anything now. But the point is, I would have looked for something. If not, I would give the perpetual check. And the reason I'm not going into any like potential lines here is because I think actually it's kind of a more practical approach. If you're still comfortable with a draw and you see you can bail out with a perpetual check, then you don't need to calculate until you get to that position whether you have something else.
From a practical point of view, do you think Black was maybe wrong to not pick him?
I think he was calculating this. Of course, he has limited time, so he doesn't have a whole lot he can do. I think at this point he realized the game has slipped away from him. I'm not sure whether he saw bishop takes g7 or if he thought that this is just going to be dangerous for white. Or maybe he saw something else that I don't see right now that is potentially really strong. So I'm not sure exactly whether he considered this move or how seriously.
Right.
I thought f6 was interesting. If I play bishop f5 right away, he can actually just play g6. And take, queen comes to g7, black is fine. But I thought I might trick him here with rook d1. Now I want to play like rook d4, rook h4, bishop f5, and just mate him. Pawn on e6 is pretty strong and taking away some escape squares. And if knight c2, which looks really obvious to hit the rook, now I have bishop f5. And after g6, I take.
And you're checking up the end of the line, you pick up the knight.
Yeah, queen takes g6, queen takes knight, and I'm up 2 pawns with a winning position. So I thought I might trick him that way. But he doesn't have to play knight c2 here. I thought maybe knight c4 is possible. And then the game would be very sharp. But yeah, there's so many interesting lines here. Even like, just looking at it now, like rook e4, for example. If he takes, I have rook d7 maybe.
Right.
And then like queen g5. I mean, just some very, very interesting lines. The pawn on e6 really gives white just tons of possibilities here.
Right.
But he ends up going for another option, just taking on e6, which I actually didn't even see was possible. It's kind of embarrassing because I could have just lost the game. Like bishop e6, he takes, I take knight b1. And I was looking for some sack here, but I don't see anything working. I'm probably just down a piece.
Right.
Fortunately, I have rook takes e6. If not, I would just play for compensation, like rook d1, bishop e5. I probably have pretty good play. Even rook e5, rook g5 is possible.
Right.
But, okay, I can take on e6 with the rook, as I did.
I mean, from a practical point of view, you can always take such risks when your opponent is no time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not a hard move to find rook takes e6.
Well, I mean, to play this move e6 without having everything figured out. I mean, it's a practical decision.
Definitely a practical decision. Yeah, I felt like this was my chance, and so I seized it. If he takes here, I take on e8, and black is lost because bishop e6 is a huge threat. Maybe not lost, but in deep trouble here. So he definitely can't take on c3. Mm-hmm. Maybe he has some miracle defense here, I'm not sure. After rook e6, I think he played more or less the only move, queen f7. This forces a trade of queens because all my rooks are hanging. But now I'm able to support the second rook with rook e1. Mm-hmm. Now that I'm more or less consolidated, white has a clear advantage here. I thought maybe, not sure what's best for him here, but I am threatening to take both rooks and take on g7. He took here, I took with the bishop, he has to go to g6, and he missed a nice little trick. Maybe the viewers can pause the video and look for white to play, find the best move. Okay, your time is up, I apologize. Bishop takes d5. I mean, there are some technical ways to play the position. White is clearly better, 2 bishops. Maybe bishop d7 and try to play rook e7, but bishop takes d5, just winning the full pawn on the spot.
Right.
Has to take.
And now it's a good bishop versus bad position, whereas before black was aiming for a good knight versus bad bishop.
Yeah, now the e5 pawn is off the board. My bishop is a beast. And more importantly, I think, is just that the rook is so active, and I have an extra c pawn now, which is just passed. Mm-hmm. So this endgame is more or less winning for white, and I was really, really happy with my technique, because there's still a lot of ways to go wrong here. He played knight c2, and his idea is to push d4, activate his king, push d3, and gain counterplay. Number of pawns doesn't matter if your opponent is queening.
Right.
So I felt like I really clinched this the most precise way to convert, just like 2600 Russian style GM. I could take on g7. I'm pretty sure I can get away with this. I just felt it was kind of unnecessary. And if I mess up, then I'm going to have to give up my bishop for the pawn.
Right, and at that point,
and
everything
then,
can happen.
yeah, I mean, okay, I'm sure white is happy, like, I can take all his pawns, but I'm trying to win here, okay, guys? Like, what? why you gotta do this, huh? I felt I was very surgical. I played rook d6. King e4. Keep in mind this is move 33, so he's basically playing on increment.
Right.
I have like 10 minutes left, so not a lot of time, but I have time to calculate c6. So I basically calculated just until, not the end of the game, but until the game is more or less decided. The point is, if he plays d4, I'm in time with the c pawn. And rook d8. Okay, common trick. If he tries rook c8, sorry, it's his turn. So c7, rook c8. My bishop is in time to come to a5, and rook d8 is coming next. His knight is too far away to do anything, and his pawn is also too far away. Just rook d8. His pawn is under control. So I thought I could win there. I thought maybe his best try is rook c8. And then I can choose between bishop a5 and go for c7 and rook d8. That looks convincing. Sorry for the arrows. I could also probably just take here now that my rook is better placed and that his rook is passive. Like d4, king g2, d3, and like maybe bishop h6. And okay, this allows knight d4, so I don't want to do this.
Maybe bishop c3?
Bishop c3.
There's something wrong with this one.
And it looks good. The point is black's pawn is stopped, and black kind of runs out of moves.
Right.
I wanted to put the bishop on h6 so I could play f3 check, but I don't want to allow knight d4. So this isn't exactly over, but if black's pawn is stopped, then I'm just 2 pawns up.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing here is you do have a lot of waiting. You can play a4, a5, a6, you can play h4, h5, h6, and then you can just play along the center.
Yeah, I can even just go for another pass pawn.
Precisely.
So probably this was winning, but I think that was black's most stubborn defense. He played the move knight d4, which is understandable. Okay, he's going for a cheapo, some checks, and he's kind of luring me to go into rook and pawn endgame where I'm a pawn up, whereas king is actually going to be very active.
Right.
And as we know, all rook and pawn endgames are drawn. So his idea, obviously he's playing for a draw now, right? He realizes he's completely busted. So I was thinking about c7 at first. This was my first idea. Rook c8, bishop a5. And I thought he probably has to go for this. Knight d5, rook d8, and sack the exchange. And I imagine this is winning for white, because I'm just taking so many pawns. I imagine this is just completely winning. But you know what? Like, with a knight on the board, it's like, you never know, man.
Although here, could you have just played rook e7 and then just...
rook e7 is cleaner.
Well, I mean, you want to take on e7 first because now you have
right.
the outside pass pawn. Right, because here you play rook e7. Your king's in the square, so if he plays d3, you play king f1.
Yeah. No, this is just game over. Maybe I was just seeing some ghosts here.
Right, but the way you did it was nice, too.
Yeah, the way I did it was clean. It just took a lot longer. But there's always, like, positions where the pawn gets to d3, knight gets to d4, and then the rook is, like, unable to deal with the pawn.
Right.
I think it's actually just a total rape. I'm just seeing ghosts in the position because I'm nervous about winning.
Oh,
like,
of course.
Because my king is just, like, so close.
I mean, better safe than sorry.
But yeah, exactly. But I mean, looking at this now, I mean, this would have been a faster win. I think black doesn't really have any realistic chances there. Like, as long as I stay calm, I don't blunder my rook, I should be fine.
Right.
Okay, but you know what? I went the technical route. I did hack on d4. I played c7. So now the rook is starting to come to d8. Rook c8 is the only move. And too many beginners here would play rook d7 because they're winning at least one pawn. And this is probably winning for white. g5, rook takes. But the thing is that, okay, the c pawn is not going anywhere. Black plays king c3, and now we're running with the pawn.
Right.
And it's not clear how white is going to stop this pawn. I mean, it just requires some very, very precise calculation. Mm-hmm. Here, king f1, d3, king e1, king c2. But how does white? make progress.
I think you have to play h4, right?
H4, right?
The idea being that
But
d2
then
mistake.
check.
Oh.
I can't play d2 because of rook d8, I think.
Yeah, but isn't there rook d1, d1 queen again? No, because you queen 2.
So already that line is complicated, but even if black just goes back, and then he wants to play d2.
Right. Yeah, this is...
So this is what I'm worried about. Maybe white has some accurate win. I mean, I didn't analyze this extremely deeply.
Right, because
if this was my only option, I would have considered it more seriously. But this is what I'm worried about with the king getting so active. The move I chose in the game, rook c6, to me actually kills the game for him.
Right.
Because the rook is behind the passed pawn, meaning black's rook, unless it's coming out for a check, will have to immediately return, because I'll just queen. And I'm cutting the c file, which means that this king is actually going to be butting in front of the pawn. Okay. And I had a kind of a conceptual idea of how I was going to win this, and it worked out perfectly. I mean, it was really nice.
Yeah, this move, as Josh Fidel would call it, is the ultimate mute button.
Mute button?
Yeah, I think this is how he described a move in a different game that he saw today.
That's funny.
But this is definitely a mute button.
I haven't heard that. That's really great. I like that mute button. Exactly. Basically, the point is that, okay, let's say black tries to get counterplay again with the king. He's going to run out of squares already.
Right.
Okay, he can give check. I'll play king d1, and he has to go back, and I can make any move. And the point is that the king is in zugzwang. So the rook is in constant zugzwang, can't move. Now the king is in zugzwang as well as not getting to the second rank. He has to go back, and my king marches up the board. And so black is just in constant zugzwang in these endgames and is just dead lost.
Right.
The important point I have to mention back here is that if black tries to come back this way, we were looking at this after the game.
Yeah, this does seem like the most natural defense, but white has a nice way of...
In order to pick up the pawn, the problem is I just go back, king d6, king d3, and whenever we trade rooks,
this pawn on the game is simply like...
just up and pawn out. Just trivially winning. Extra pawn, active king, yeah. Nothing to analyze.
Extra pawn, extra point.
So, because he can't do that, he's basically lost. And in fact, like, this position is almost resignable. I mean, no one would resign because you want to play on, look for traps, but I understood actually that I'm just completely winning. So let's see what happened. He played g5. I think it's a good try. I just started bringing my king in. King d3. If I get king e2, king d2 is just over immediately.
Right, yeah.
So king e1. He plays h5, king d1, and h4. So this is move 40, so he's been playing on increment this whole time. I think he's defended it about as well as he could. There weren't really a whole lot of options. Now I have kind of a decision to make as to what kind of structure I want on the king side.
Right, and the key is to not make that move 41 mistake.
Right, where I just played too quickly. Although I made this move really fast, but not super fast, but I already understood what I'm going to do.
Right, I mean, this decision I think is not too difficult, but for those of you guys who don't understand what we're referencing, move 41 mistakes is a phenomenon where after playing 40 moves off of increment or in a time scramble, you're also likely to play moves 41, moves 42 fairly quickly because that's just the rhythm of the game. Like your blood is pumping and your heart is telling you move, 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 but you have this extra, in this case, 30 minutes added on to your time.
Yeah, what a lot of strong players, I mean, even up to 2500 level fail to do is they get to move 40, you really need to take a timeout just to reacclimate yourself with it. Because the position has often changed quite a bit, and a lot of times someone makes a move just a second too quickly, and it turns out to be a rash decision or a wrong decision. Of course, players make mistakes on move 40 all the time because they don't have enough time to consider it. But move 41 is actually just as common, where you really need to sit down and reintroduce yourself to the position. That's why if you go to an open tournament, if you see any GM, at move 40, I got up to walk around, and I saw, I think, Grandmaster Londa. He was thinking hard with his board. I looked at his score sheet. He had also just reached move 40, and he's just in full, like, tank mode.
Right.
Just like, let me readjust to this position and really make sure I find the most accurate way forward. Okay. So I could just take, and I make a second pass pawn, but it's not easy to figure out what I'm actually going to do because he's just going to play here and just move the pawn.
Right.
And then if I'm not a pawn up, then I'm not I'm not winning at all.
Of course.
Right. So okay, very very easy to throw away the game here. I was thinking about just like doing nothing, like rook c5 or d4, and then just doing nothing because eventually he runs out of moves. But the problem is that I don't want to allow him to open up a file and then threaten checkmate. So here, I have to play like king c1, and then maybe he goes back. And now he's starting king d2. If I play king d1, he goes back to e3.
Right.
Maybe I'm still winning here. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't want to calculate this, right? I just want to find the simplest one possible.
Generally, in the endgame, if you can avoid a variation or your opponent has counterplay, you should do it.
Yeah. And here, like sometimes these endgames are winning, so it's just a matter of finding the right 2-1 position, or even a king triangulation comes into play.
Right.
But I realized, like, well, if he doesn't get any open files, he can't threaten checkmate. So, going back, g4. And I had to actually calculate a few lines here that we'll see in the game, but it was pretty simple, and I'll try to explain why the best I can. And now he has no open files, so his rook is just in zigzag, and he has to start making decisions with his pawn. He has to start moving his king. He played d4, which is fine. He can also play h3. It doesn't change anything.
Right.
Now black's only saving chance is to come in with his king this way. Through e4, and then try to take the h2 pawn, and then try to create counterplay with the h pawn passer. As we'll see, he's not going to be in time. Here I played rook c5, cutting the king so that his king can never come back this way.
Right.
He played king d4, king e2. This is just to induce d3 check, because if he plays here, I have f3, and he can't make progress, or h3, either way.
Right.
So he has to play d3 check, king d2, and here he played h3. If he plays king d4, I have rook c3. And then I'm threatening to take the pawn with check, or if he plays here, I'll give check and then take the pawn with my king. And we'll get very similar to what happened in the game. I think this endgame is super instructive, actually, because I'm just going to show one critical idea that someone has to understand, and once you see that idea, you'll understand why black is just dead lost here. I mean, really dead lost. I was very nervous during this game because I'm playing for like a big result, but in this position, I was actually super calm. I just understood perfectly, exactly. I mean, it was almost trivial, basically. He played h3 here, and I forced him to part ways with his d-pawn. And now he has a choice. He can either go for king g2, king h2, or he can take on d4. If he plays king g2, I give rook c2 check. Let's say he plays king g1, and I start bringing my king towards either the rook or to take the pawn.
Right.
So now looking at this position, black is stuck. I mean, he literally has no moves. Well, what's the only try black has here? What do you think?
I mean, if you're black, you have basically two options. You can play with like king f1, or you can check on e8. But I mean, in reality, black doesn't really have that.
Well, I guess I mean like productive options. So like king f1 just does nothing. I just come in, right?
Well, productive options for black. That's not really a fair question. I mean, I guess you could say I could play a5.
Well, a5, a4, right?
Yeah, but okay, this isn't going to do much, but you really can't do, because once you play rook e8, right, the king's going to move, and now you have to go back.
You have to go back, yeah. So what's the only way for black to get any counterplay? I mean, it loses on the spot, don't get me wrong, but what's the only try?
Only try to lose anyways.
to at least get some counterplay.
Okay. Well, we need to. I guess I guess we could talk about rook takes c7, maybe being rook takes c7, king takes h2.
That's the only idea, right? I mean, otherwise black is just shuffling and waiting.
Right.
So this loses trivially. It's not
Right.
a super serious option, but this is black's only source of counterplay to eventually give up the rook and try to get counterplay with the h pawn.
Right.
Now, if black had already taken this pawn and this pawn is going to g4, we can talk about getting some counterplay, right?
Right.
But here, it's just way too slow. I play king f5. I'll play rook h8, rook h7, give the rook up for the pawn, take the g5 pawn, trivially winning king and pawn in game.
Right.
So this is just dead lost. He can't do this. He took on g4. Now his idea is to, okay, try to come back and then create a pass pawn. Or if I give him the chance, win both the pawns.
Mm-hmm.
Now if he could take here and play king takes h2 in one move, I think he would absolutely take that, although white is probably in time to stop his pawns anyway. But
right.
king e4 just cinches the deal. I don't allow his king to come back in. And when he plays king h4, this is going to be way too slow. So I'll play king d5, g4, and I don't have to make this move, but rook c3. Mm-hmm. And I just cut this off.
Right.
And not enough counterplay. I'm threatening to just play king d6, defend the pawn. If he plays g3, I take a check. The reason this wasn't even necessary, for example, I could just play king d6 here, is because g3 I also have check.
Okay. And now I can play rook h4.
And h2, rook h4, rook c1, both are winning, and my king is already in contact with the pawn, so he doesn't have any desperados with the rook. So basically, he has no ideas here. The last, let's say, just want to back up and show one more idea like this. Here in this position, let's say he had played king f3. I was also considering this instead of h3. Let's say I take. He plays king g2. The last little quote-unquote trick I would need to find is just to put my rook on c2 anyways. Mm-hmm. The point is after he takes, I play f4, discover the check, and I take on g5. And now I can even...
You can just play all the way to g8.
Yeah.
Remove the endgame.
I mean, okay, let's see. We have to be a little bit precise. So h3, here, h2, I take, I play g7. And it seems like I'm in time. Mm-hmm. His rook is stuck on the back rank, and my king is just coming in. Although...
Was this the most accurate way to go with king e4? I'm not so sure about this. Because king e4, it looks like you lost the move. Because I thought what you wanted to do here was you wanted to just bring the king and attack the a pawn, and then bring the a pawn.
Well, that's kind of slow. He'll bring his king to take g7.
Well, you can't really stop him from doing this anyways.
Well, I want to hit the rook.
Well, you can do that from a6.
Well, from b7.
Well, I mean, the idea is that you go to win the a pawn, and then you play king b7.
But right. I don't need to win a pawn first. Because he still has to win the g pawn. So I can play here.
No, but is a5 going to give him enough time at the end of that line to bring his king back? So takes
a4?
a4, a5, does he have time?
Oh, I hope not.
Because he's just going to get his king to c8, right?
Seems like I'm one.
You're one tempo ahead.
Okay, so this line was actually like totally unnecessary, but it just shows you the options that white has in this kind of position.
Right.
I mean, that was the minimum I can get. I don't really want to calculate all that, so let's look for a simpler option here. King f3. Let's see what else can I do here. Take here. Okay, so I think I can just bring in my king. Yeah, okay. I mean, that entire line was pointless because this is just like...
This is simply game over.
Takes.
Rook h5, you can just give that guy back up, and now you've got more than enough pawns.
Yeah, king d7, game over. One of the main points I was trying to make a little bit earlier is that there are some positions where he gives up the rook let's say we've traded all the pawns except for these two on h4, h2. He gives up the rook for the c pawn. I take. He wins my last h pawn. Eventually, I have to give up my rook for this pawn. My king is always way closer to the queen side.
Right.
And I remember losing a game like this where like both sides have to give up the rook for the passed pawn, but my opponent's king was closer to the last two pawns on the board. Even though they were rook pawns, my king was way too far.
Right.
So that was winning for white. Another game I remember I was thinking a lot about during this game was I feel like Levon Aronian has had at least 2 endgames like this where, let's try to find a game position. Where he uses his rook to just cut the king. Here?
This is the rook d7.
Ah, right.
So rook c6 is right here.
H3. So yeah, this was what we got in the game. And after king takes g4, king e4, king h4, and rook c3. So Aronian has gotten at least 2 endgames like this where he just puts his rook behind the passed pawn. And it seems like black's king, I mean, looking at this endgame, so active, right? And it seems like, oh, the king is so active, black should probably be doing fine. But it's just totally helpless against the rook cutting off the king. And all these ideas where, like, okay, if my king gets in time, and the rook is able to stop his pawns with ease, because I'm always willing to give up the rook and go into a winning king and pawn endgame. So, my previous game, I had to give props to Nakamura for showing me the King's Indian. This game, props to Levon Aronian for showing me the technique. Gotcha. And in fact, after in this position, I think he just played a5, I played a4, and he resigned because he realized, he's so many tempi behind that it's just hopeless.
Right.
So, I mean, really interesting game. I thought my technique, although maybe a bit slow, I had better options. Just to the point. Straight. I really demonstrated this concept, I think, beautifully.
It definitely felt like once you played the c6 move, even if it's maybe not the most accurate, practically you just kind of closed the deal after that. Every move was a small improving move, and eventually you just got this winning advantage.
Oh, you mean rook c6 or e6?
When you played e6 and he made takes e6. I mean, I feel like this was a really big turning point.
That was my chance to go for it.
Of course.
And take a risk because I didn't calculate all the lines, but I thought, okay, 2 bishops, active queen, his knight sidelined. Tactically, it should work out for me.
Special at the very least.
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
So yeah, this was a pretty interesting game.
Yeah, so I finished with 7.5, which was good for shared 6th through 10th place. 6th on tiebreak because I got 7 wins, and I ended up taking the under 2,400 prize as well. So.
Yeah, definitely some good company up there on the podium.
Oh yeah, I was very, very happy. But all right, you also won a game that was quite exciting.
Yeah, for me this was a personal milestone.
You've been giddy since you finished the game. So go ahead, take it away.
Yeah. So I'm sure for everybody who's watching this video, you've watched all 9 of our videos so far.
In full, obviously.
In full, and
you've commented and liked and subscribed.
Well, this isn't even the expectations, it's just the minimum bar. But I think you can kind of tell yesterday's game, even though I won, I was deflated the whole game. I probably played I would say 1900 rating level, not inspired chess, and so
it's being generous. I'm just kidding.
You're probably not wrong. So for today's game, I knew I would have white, and I knew, okay, so I would say tomorrow, but it's now 2 a.m., so at some point today I will be back home for the first time in 3 months, and I knew that psychologically it'd be very difficult to be like, oh, this game is really important, but hey, big lifestyle change in less than 24 hours. So it's kind of like that feeling where you've got classes right before spring break and you don't care anymore. So I decided that, okay, this game is important. It's the last game of my Europe trip. And chances are, however I do in this game will be how I remember this tournament. Because I feel like there's a big difference between 4 out of 10 and 5 out of 10. Because one is 50% and the other one is, disappointing result, especially if it means losing to 2 low-rated people. So to kind of go through my mentality for the preparation, C4 has been my specialty since 8th grade. I was 1300 when I started playing it, and all of a sudden I jump up, and now I'm about 2100. Hopefully getting closer to 2200, and C4 has been kind of my main way of getting there. But my opponent, who was like 1860, but had like gotten a lot of good results against 2100s this tournament, he had played against the English 3 times already, across 4 of his blacks, and I noticed across each of the 3 games he got better and better. So that means that because I'd be guy number 4, he probably has something that he's learned, and he of course is looking at my games at the same time. So then I think, okay, maybe I should play the London system. But the London system is easy to prepare for, I think, if you really know what you're doing. And like my opponent, like I'm sure he has no problems getting like a drawish line. So it's not that difficult to prepare for. And funnily enough, I came to Europe having learned the London system as my surprise weapon. Like this was going to be something I wasn't going to play that often. But then in Lienz, I played it 5 times, all 5 of my whites, and I went 4 out of 5. I was like, hey, this is actually a pretty decent opening. And I think, looking back, based on how many games I played, I think I had 50% 1d4 and 50% 1c4. Of course, I have some 1 knight of 3 in there with transpositions, but okay, all this is in the database, and my opponent sees this. And I didn't really want to play the London system. I knew that this is how the game goes. So I was thinking. I was like, okay, what happens when I play 1e4? I haven't played this move since 2009. E4. I know, it looks weird. It looks like I just made the wrong move for me. I haven't played this since 2009 when I was in 6th grade, so I was 12 years old. That was a long time ago, so 8 years ago. What can I say? So my opponent's an E5 player, and I don't want to show too much prep here because I had a lot of help from a good friend of mine, Balin Lee, a co-author at chesssummit.com. So to keep his openings a secret, I won't show too much, but I had some extensive preparation here.
B3 bishop B2. Right?
Sure, we'll go with the B3 bishop B2. I felt very confident with this, and I actually have to say, because I thought he would play E5 and go into all this preparation that I had, this was probably the most excited I had been for a game this tournament, which was important because the first game wasn't the game I was most excited about. Or at least I thought I would be, because like the whole year starting back in December when I registered for this tournament, I was like, oh, who am I going to play in round 1 of Reykjavik? It's always, is it going to be Beliavsky? Is it going to be, who is it going to be? So that game is over, but now I'm more excited for this game than I was for that game. Of course, he didn't play 1e5 during the game. He plays 1c5. Crap. All the prep. Flush. And now we have to start playing chess.
Oh, yeah, I recognize this position. Yeah, White's supposed to play knight f3 and then d4.
Something like this. I mean, funnily enough, I've now been on the black side of this for my 2 previous games, and it's now my turn to show that White has an edge. So I'm thinking. When I was 1300, when I last played e4, my specialty against Sicilian was to play a close Sicilian king's any attack like setup, so knight c3, g3, bishop g2. But I have like a 1300s level knowledge here, and of course, as someone who played the Sicilian for the longest time as black and has this position reversed with the English, my opinions on the close Sicilian are not very high. So I was like, all right, well, the most principal move in the position is knight to f3.
b4. Oh, right. Knight f3. Yeah.
b4. Win gambit. Come on. Funnily enough, someone played the win gambit in the first round against my coach. But okay. So on knight f3, and the point is, I wanted to see what kind of Sicilian he could play. Obviously, he plays g6. This is my Sicilian. Well, not my Sicilian, but I play this line, so I know what to do. I think this is a move. I know this is a move because I used to play this too, and this is also a move. If he plays here, I would probably think.
Actually, against e6, very strong is the move b3.
Right, which
seen in Ziska Kavutskiy.
Right, and we have a video on this game now, so make sure to check out that
round
game.
5. Bad chess.
Bad chess.
Our most popular video, actually, so far.
Our most popular video, but probably our most instructive. I would say round 3 was also very instructive, but round 5 definitely.
Round 3 and 5, these are my 2 losses. So yeah.
I lost, and I should have lost in round 5. So I played knight f3, and I want to see what I would induce. He plays d6. Now, the thing to notice is that, like, okay, in the database, he's not a Sicilian player. In fact, I thought if he wasn't going to play e5, he'd play either c6 or g6. So he's already surprised me here, but I wonder if I'm surprising him too, because now he's playing an opening that maybe he doesn't have that much experience with. And I'm thinking back to my knight order phase and what's most annoying with d6. And I always remembered when I was about 1900, the lines that caused me the most trouble were after knight f3 when white plays this move c3. I know that there's other moves here, I'm sure you would have really wanted to see me play d4 and crack a novelty, but okay, I don't know theory here. You do have to be practical when you're playing openings you've never played before. And I have a concrete idea in mind with this move c3, in that I'm going to transpose into a game my coach actually lost earlier this tournament. I'm going to play, as that game is, knight f6. I play bishop e2, the idea being this pawn is not for free. Where's the tactic?
Queen b3.
Nope, queen a5, queen a4. Obviously, I'm hitting both, so this is not truly a pawn. And the idea of putting my bishop on e2 is it's actually coming back to f1. And so in the game where Vaishali played my coach Eugene Perlstein, my coach actually got a nice position after b6, bishop b7, knight c6, and then eventually played b6, bishop b7. And he did, he got a great position. But of course, this is with a lot of preparation, not something every 1800 is going to have. I thought this was, if I get nothing out of the opening and it's equal and I have nothing better than draw, my opponent would probably be inclined to take it. So I have no wins. He plays g6. So we're going to get into some sort of dragon setup. Of course, this tactic, queen a4, will always still work. So he plays here, I play rook e1, preparing for him to play castles, and now I play bishop f1 to point. And the idea is that now I can always play a move like h3, and this bishop actually does a really nice job supporting here. The other thing is the bishop is a long-range piece, so this bishop is also controlling all the squares in this diagonal.
That is true.
So this is something that's really important and a key defensive resource. He plays knight c6, and he says, okay, well, your plan is to play d4, sir, but if you play d4 today, I'm going to play bishop g4, and you are in a lot of trouble, because this d4 pawn is very weak. So, okay, I cannot play d4. And I tried to think here, because I'm out of my book, right? And I just know that if I play this move d3, this is kind of sad looking. This wouldn't be that much fun. And so I'm trying to think about what is the best move here for white, or what is the best plan. And I actually remember I got a position like this with black against Juan Sena at the National Chess Congress in 2015. And in that game, he played knight a3 against me. The simple idea of playing knight c2 and d4. So I'm like, okay, Mr. Sena, you crushed me in a beautiful game. Probably, the most instructive game I lost that tournament. Let's see if I can teach this kid a little bit of a lesson.
Yeah, why not?
And he plays e5, and this is actually important, because my game against Juan Sena, I have this exact same pawn structure, except this knight, instead of being on f6, is on e7. Now, as I was telling you earlier, as an English player, I look at this and say, okay, this is a bottom setup, reverse, but this knight is now misplaced on f3. Because generally, if it's on e7, it makes it easier to play for f5. But this is no longer possible with knight on f6. The other thing, though, is with this pawn on c3, and not having committed this d pawn, I always give myself this option to go open e7. Now, of course, if I were to play d4 now, the problem is, again, okay, takes, he could take or not take, but the point is this square is going to become very weak. So even if we get this structure, this is just bad. So I can't go for this. I thought about knight c2, but I don't know whether or not he wants to come to c4 or c2 yet. I wanted to leave this up to black rather. So I played this move d3, just simple developing move. Saying, hey, this bishop could move too. He plays h6, I play h3. I'm very happy to see a move like this because, he spent 5 minutes on this move and then played here, which means there's no, maybe it's a prophylactic move, but, he doesn't really have something he's bringing to position, so I played this out in 10 seconds. Okay, now he plays the most challenging move. I thought he should have played the move before, which is d5. The idea is simple. He wants to get a Maroczy bind structure that's terrible for white, rather. So if we were to go down this line, I think this is just simply crushing. Black is crashing through.
Well, yeah, black is defending the center appropriately.
Right. I mean, the problem at the end of the day is I always have this d3 pawn, and my bishops aren't really in positions to deal with the open position.
Well, it's a reverse King's Indian.
Yeah, it's a reverse King's Indian or a bad Maroczy bind, however you really want to see it. And I actually made this mistake already once in Budapest, I guess in FM. I somehow managed to draw that game in one of the ugliest games of my career, but I had no intention of repeating this. And so, okay, black is also threatening this. And usually you're okay with the structure, but the problem is at the end line he's got queen takes d1, rook takes d1. In the King's Indian, usually this bishop is on e2, or g2 rather. So if he plays knight takes e4, you have knight takes d5 ideas with discovery, but because my bishop's on f1, this no longer exists. So I have to think about where I want to put my queen. I think in the King's Indian, the queen usually doesn't belong on c7, but I think here it's okay, because here I'm supporting the pawn, and I'm giving myself a lot of flexibility. Now, here he started to misplay a little bit. I think this is where experience really helps everybody. I think here he should have played a move like a6, to which my idea was to play bishop e3 and provoke this move. If I get him to play here, then I'm just going to either come back here or here, probably here. The idea being that I'm going to just bring this rook over, I'm going to use this square to my advantage, or I could open this and then put my rook on c1. I have a lot of ideas here.
Yep.
So this was a rich position. I thought maybe, if anything, maybe black is slightly better, but white has a lot of play. If he were to play a move like b6, well, then I'm just simply going to go here. Now, let's say he continues with the centralization strategy and trying to target this pawn. I can actually put bishop to c1, and I might even be arguably ready to take here. But the idea being that when my knight comes here, I'm hitting both here and here, and this would be something else. Okay. A6 is a little bit too nuanced though, and of course my opponent, who's not as familiar with as many different structures as me, he immediately plays his move d4. And as a King's Indian player, the rest of the game, I don't think I spent more than 3 minutes on any moves, and I can see your reaction.
Oh, did I make a visceral reaction?
Just a little bit. And so the problem with this move is you're committing the center, and generally when you commit the center, you create weaknesses.
Who will think of the white squares?
Yeah, who would think of the white squares? So just like a knight a6 King's Indian, and so it's kind of funny actually. So if we go through this game, we started with e4. It was a Sicilian. Then I played it into an Alapin. And then it seemed like black was playing a Royal C5, and now it seems like we're playing a King's Indian. So we've had so many different switches throughout this whole game.
Okay, it's very important that knight c4 you're hitting e5 with tempo.
Yes.
If his rook is already on e8, black just plays b5 and white is lost.
Yeah, actually, this is an important point. Because this is with tempo, and he must defend this pawn, he plays this move rook e8. By the way, I thought this was the weaker way to defend the pawn. I thought maybe at least queen e7, because now at least you keep this option open of playing f5 in the future. But okay, rook e8, this is okay, and I thought b4 immediately. He plays b6. I'm not so worried about this a6 and b5 plan because I think this is slow, and I'll always have a5, and then this b6 square can be weak with some lines if he's not careful. So I wasn't really too worried about this at the time. And so I played bishop d2 here, just maintaining the tension, but also, I'm getting ready to take here. I had a game in neglect as black that I won with the same idea, just take, and then this bishop is going to be more active than this bishop.
Igor black.
Sure. And so here he plays bishop a6, and immediately I realize I have a huge positional advantage. So I take, and the problem is that if he takes this way, I'm going to play b4, and this is a huge problem for him, exactly. So he decided to play knight takes, so I might as well. Okay, if you were to play queen takes here, bishop to c3, and I'm just simply cruising.
What is the pawn?
Yes. So he cannot retake with the queen, he must retake with the pawn. So knight takes, pawn takes, and I played b4. Now here I thought maybe he would try this move b5. And then after knight a3, my idea was, okay, we'll get some structure like this. If he inserts rook c8 or not, it's not really relevant. It takes here. I actually thought maybe inserting rook c8 would cause him problems. I thought this was close to winning. I'm just going to put my knight on c4, put this rook on c1, and I relocate this bishop.
Yeah, it's quite nice for life.
I have no losing chance.
Black's pieces have 0 targets. So.
Right, this bishop a6 move I didn't really get. Now I think, based on my postmortem, my opponent was afraid of b5. But this is actually not my intention at all with this move b4. I'm only going to play b5 once the position opens up. The b4 pawn actually does a really nice job of controlling c5, so this knight can never get into the game. This is the plan. Well, if I can shut out black, and I can take away the square from him forever, he actually has no way of being able to keep the position closed. Now here he makes a huge positional blunder, and as you mentioned, the light squares, right? Well, the light squares are permanently weak after my opponent makes this terrible trade. And now the rest is history.
Is he joking?
No, unfortunately, this game is actually over now.
I feel cold.
Yeah, I actually feel I feel cold too, and it was snowing outside at this point of the game, and this is what it must have been like for my opponent. I mean, he's going to learn so much, I think, from going over all the different structural changes. But I mean, okay, for me, after 1e4 c5, I was a little bit nervous in the first 5 moves, but just after knowing the structure, we get something that I play all the time with black. All right, so queen takes c4. He plays this move rook c8.
I think queen c4 is the right choice.
Well, yeah, so you don't want to give him this a passer. Generally, you're okay taking this way. You can put a knight here because then the knight is like an octopus. But here, I don't have that knight.
Your bishop would be good. I think because you would have some ideas with pushing c5, but I feel like maybe black plays e5 and goes for dark square blockade.
Right, and the thing is, this bishop, while bad right now, I have plans in the future. For one, I could consider playing this way and then play for f4, and if I can open up this file, I can play for e5. This is a possibility, but I like the way I chose in the game. So he plays queen d6.
Oh, 2 bishops. We both have 2 bishops.
Yes. Yeah. So he plays queen d6, which I think is a slight mistake because he's not controlling c8, and then after I play rook ec1, he realizes that after I play a move like queen b2, he can never control the c file. The c file is already lost. So he takes drastic measures here and plays queen d6.
Oh.
Okay, obviously I'm taking. And so the rest of the game is actually going to be, if I played this on a chess.com blitz game, I'm pre-moving the rest of the game. And I was reminiscing rather, when I was playing this game. I was at Castle Chess Camp. Shout out to Jennifer Christensen, the organizer, and everybody there who's involved with the program. Magish Panchanathan, by the way, is a chief instructor there. I was flying back for my second year at Castle Chess Camp, which is Emory University in Atlanta. So I'm flying back from Atlanta to Richmond. I've got my chess bag. It's got the Halthustan logo. And I'm waiting at my terminal. I got like two and a half hours to kill. This guy walks up to me. He's like, "Great, you have a set. Let's play a game." And so I'm like, "Sure." This guy's probably a passer. He's like, "Fuck you, I'll just beat this guy. I'm 1700. We're the best in the world." The guy completely trashes me. We played like 5 games. I think I won the last one. But I remember in like second or third game, we get this end game. Not something like this, but it was like pair of bishops versus bishop and knight. And I think if I had had the position that I had then, now I could probably hold it. But of course, my endgame technique back then was not nearly up to par. And I remember I offered him a draw, and he was like, "Okay, well, for 1, we're playing blitz, but for 2, the bishop pair is very slippery." And as he demonstrated, this bishop, having the bishop pair, it's like having a bar of soap in the shower. You can almost always drop it. And that's actually exactly what happens here. Black has no way of stopping my bishops from tearing them apart. As we mentioned, the light squares are terribly weak, and the rest of the game, basically, is just me improving my light squared bishop. So here I played this move, bishop e2.
Okay, so what is that?
So, okay, for 1, I'm just getting it out. I'm taking away knight h5, but also I have this idea of just bringing my bishop to d1, saying, okay, he plays g5, which doesn't really do that much to the position. I play bishop to d1. And of course, he sees my idea to play bishop to b3. So, if I have this bishop on b3, then I have the ability to play bishop takes e6, or it takes e6, or it takes c8. So he's like, aha, so I'm getting this check. I play bishop b3.
You learned this idea from my game with Magish. Bishop d1, bishop c2, and then the bishop targets the king side.
Yeah, this is definitely something. Although I would have to say this is probably more from just experience at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, the moves kind of say themselves. I mean, he plays king e7 here, and he was kind of happy with himself because he thought the worst was over. This pawn has been solved. But the problem is the c8 square is the real problem. And when I played bishop c4, I could watch his eyes then. And at this point, he realized how much trouble he was in. Okay, so here he plays this move, knight to d7. I play here. He realizes he's a little bit cramped here, so maybe it's easy for him to trade rooks. But the problem with this is that now he has no control of the c file. So my rook is coming into c7. Should he not play anything else? And should he play this move, I'm simply checking and then coming back. And then now the e7 is lost for sure. Right. If he plays rook a8, I always have bishop b5. He has to come back and then take an e7.
Yep.
So king d8 is not possible. He goes king d6. What else can you do? Okay, it's important in this position that I keep this constellation of pieces because there's no coordination here, even though they're all really close. Bishop b5. Here he plays rook d8. I play check. Now I play rook c7, and he realizes there's no way to hold the a pawn because rook a8, I just take his so he plays a6. And the funny part is, should he play a move like rook a8, we're just going to do this all over again.
Yep.
And I'm going to play a5. So he realizes this is no good. He plays knight to b8. Oh, well, he can't play knight to b8. Now he plays here. I played rook c1. Now he plays knight to b8, of course, legal moves. And now I play bishop b5. And again, we're going to reach the same constellation, except now this knight is actually boxed in by my bishop. And trades are actually not so bad in the same color bishop endgame. Okay, so here he realized he has no moves. He plays bishop to f8. And tragically, this is actually an immediate loss because after here, okay, what else can he do? He takes here. This is immediately losing, but okay, I was going to take it or play a6. Takes, he plays knight here. I give this check and he stops the clock. Obviously, if he plays knight here, I'm simply taking. So let's just put this on the board. And unfortunately, the pain actually doesn't stop. This is check again. So I'll be at 2 bishops. So this was a really instructive win because it shows, I think, how pawn structure changes. Just kind of like in some of your games are so crucial to the development of the strategy of the game.
Yeah.
And then furthermore, this endgame. Just him making this decision. Bishop takes c4 and queen to e6. These 2 moves lost in the game. And I think that, for a 1e4 opening, usually like the loss is more tactical. It's more immediate. It's direct. In this case, not so much. It was all strategy.
Yeah, it was a very, very clean game, I thought.
Yeah, I would say that, maybe, arguably, if he finds a6, maybe this isn't my prettiest opening ever or my prettiest game ever, but I feel like this is a game I'll talk about for a very long time. Nothing beat the adrenaline rush of sitting at the board for a minute, pretending like I have no idea what I'm going to do on my first move, and then playing 1e4. I don't think that this is going to be my new opening, because there's so much theory here. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's good.
It was a lot of fun. So 5 out of 10. I wanted 6 out of 10. That was my goal. But considering how things developed, I'm very relieved that I could finish an even score. I think my FIDE rating gain expected formula thing is +1 point.
Okay,
I'll take it. I'll take it. I mean, it's really hard in these open sections where you're going up and down, and you never really meet that middle ground. I don't think I played anybody within 120 rating points, or 150 rating points. So, okay, I'll take what I can get. But I had a lot of fun here in Iceland.
Yeah, what a tournament, huh? Oh,
yeah.
My God.
I mean,
it was long, it was grueling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was long, it was grueling, but it was also like in a really, I wouldn't want to say quaint, but in a small town where there's a distinct culture. I really wish that, I can come back at some point in the future, but of course, with me being a college student, if I try to do this next year, unfortunately, it means missing all my final exams. So I don't know when I'll exactly be able to come back, but it was a lot of fun being able to do this tournament with you here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think these videos have been awesome because number one, it got us to like go over our games in a serious fashion, which I think helps with chess. And now we're starting to get more comments that people are really enjoying the format of like the deep, detailed analysis, sans computer analysis.
Right.
Like almost all our videos, I haven't even checked the game with an engine. I'm just saying, all my thoughts, and I think that's more useful from a practical approach.
Right, and that was actually the same with my game here. I mean, usually what I've been trying to do, even when I'm playing low-rated opponents, is try to get a gist for what they want to say in post-mortem, and then try to, make the most out of it. I mean, it was especially helpful with 2200s and when I played Ale, when I was able to, like, go over the game with them. They showed me why I messed up. Then I have to, like, process that, and then I come here, and then I say, okay, this is what I learned from this game. And I feel like this is something that maybe other players our strength should try to embrace. But for those of you guys who like this combo here between me and Kostya, we are in talks of trying to do some sort of streaming when we get back to the U.S. between Chess Summit and Kostya and maybe some Bay Area chess players. So we have no idea what the timetable is on that, but fingers crossed it's sooner rather than later. And of course, him being San Jose Hackers, me being Pittsburgh Pawn Grabbers, we're of course very obsessed with Pro Chess League, and this is something that we're also looking forward to as well.
Yeah, that'll be fun next year.
So, wow, this was a fast tournament. I mean, it felt like it was long at points, but now that it's over, it felt like I just played Ale yesterday.
I feel like we've been here like 2 months.
2 months? Wow, okay.
Ready to go home.
I don't know. I mean, like, you had a pretty easy day. I mean, for those of you guys who don't know what it's like to live with Kostya, I mean, he wakes up at like 11 every day, and like, he just does his prep, goes to his game, and then that's basically his day.
Have some
coffee, make some lunch. And, it's pretty simple. But your days are a little bit shorter than mine, I think. But yeah. All right. So tomorrow we'll be flying home from the U.S. I think it'd be cool if we could do like some sort of like post-tournament kind of assessment. But in order to do that, we need some comments from you guys, some questions, maybe some things that you think that we missed. And maybe we'll try to reconvene and put something together. If not a video, then an article.
What might be cool? I might. I'll definitely be going through my games with a lot more detail and paying attention to the computer eval, just to see find all the resources that were missed, which I'm sure there were many.
Right.
And maybe doing a video saying even making some corrections, like, oh, I had this evaluation, but in fact, this was the right idea here, or in fact, I missed this move here, and just showing maybe some key moments that definitely can learn from just analyzing with Stockfish.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely be interesting, but I think that might actually be more meaningful with my games, because your games seem pretty technical. Once you were winning, it was dead arrow straight ahead.
But you never know. I'm always curious. What's the best defense when Black reaches a bad position? Are there any last resources or final tricks?
Of course.
Especially the losses is very important to go over and see, okay, how could I defend it better?
Right. So now that, I mean, you had a result that I don't think you expected.
No, I did not.
Coming to this tournament. So what do you take away from this tournament?
I guess what I take away is that I'm somewhat surprisingly for me is that I'm capable of playing chess at a pretty high level, which I wasn't expecting because I've been working a lot leading up
Right.
to the event. I thought I would struggle a lot in the opening here, and some extent I did. I got tricked in a couple lines just because I wasn't up to date on the latest theory. Um, but when it came to some critical decision making opportunities, I felt like I made a lot of right decisions in games, whether it's going for the initiative or finding the right construction of pieces, like some kind of maneuver. I think I did a really good job. I also took my chances here. Um, I mean, I had only, let's say, two bad positions which I lost. I had one bad position which I turned around and won, and the rest of the games I had one draw, and the rest of the games were fairly clean. So very happy with the 7 wins that I got in this. I mean, I still can't believe I won 7 chess games.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot by any metric.
I guess that was pretty solid. Honestly, I didn't blunder. Yeah, I didn't blunder anything actually. Like missing a one move.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Anything that you feel like maybe having played this tournament, you think you can improve on for your next
so
tournament?
much.
So much? Anything in particular?
That's what scares me is that during the game, you get some opening position. Like today, I had the Queen's Indian. And I realized, like, yeah, there's so many ideas in this Catalan Queen's Indian hybrid that I don't know about. There's so many lines in this one variation, so many different options I can learn. And the different structures that I was getting in the tournament, I felt like I'm only understanding this at a very basic level, that I could do so much more. Of course, the calculation can always be improved. And lastly, just I think some of my endgame play was probably imprecise. So looking at that and figuring out how I can improve, I think will also help me in terms of just improving that part of my game.
It's actually funny that you say that because I feel like, the way I look at my games, on a holistic scale, like I feel like the same extent, like, end games, for example, for the most part of this trip, minus the round 5 games in this tournament, have been how I've been able to win the games with this tournament. I saw that, hey, wait a minute, there's so much more that I can learn.
Oh, of course.
Definitely working with you through some of your games and some of your thought processes made that a little bit more clear, but also losing, some critical games here definitely taught me that. But also, it's still nice to see, like, in some of my wins this tournament also, like, there's some balance. End games have helped me a lot when playing people my strength and weaker, but when it comes to playing people who are stronger, I have some work to do.
Right.
So maybe that means that some more endgame essential posts are coming to Chess Summit once I return home and need some ideas to write about. So this could, this is something I think I'm going to be working on.
Sweet.
But I don't exactly know what my next tournament would be. I mean, life. But I'm definitely looking forward to the next time I get on the board. And if it's white, you better watch out. Well, I can play 1d4, I can play 1c4, I can play 1a3, and apparently I can play 1e4 now. So, you can prep for me, but good luck.
I mean, this was really cool. We did this game analysis after every game. I mean, I actually can't remember another player doing this for every single game, every single day in a 9 or 10 round tournament.
Right, and I think what made this work is that we did it throughout the tournament, not like a video per round after the tournament, so we could kind of see like how we were doing. I mean,
obviously we're remembering more lines the day of that we played the game,
so
that helps quite a bit.
I mean, I think I'm going to wind up rewatching most of these videos just to make sure I got everything that I said, blunder or not blunder in my own analysis. But I mean, this was really interesting, and I think you guys as the audience, this is a cool experiment, for us, because you guys can see like how emotionally, how are we doing? Do we have enough stamina? I think definitely more with me than with you, because you just felt like it was like a euphoric high the whole tournament. But
I've been tired.
The last 5 rounds. The last 5 rounds, you must have felt like a rock star though. 3.5 out of 5. Right, 4.5 out of 5.
I feel great about the result, but I mean, in terms of the levels of energy, I'm exhausted.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone's exhausted, but you had to feel good going.
Oh yeah.
So it's good. I mean, like with me, like it was just like, whatever goes. But I think that our audience now sees maybe different ways to handle that, which is unique. Of course, when in doubt, play 1e4. I guess is my way of handling that. But everybody has their own way.
All right, guys. Well, if you enjoyed this, if you have any feedback on how to do this better next time,
comments.
Yeah, like it's actually an amazing feature of the internet that you can write your thoughts. So even if you don't have our phone number, for example, you can write your thoughts in the boxes below.
Yeah,
hit enter.
You type it in the box. There's no 180 character limit.
And then Google will email us for you to notify us that you said something to us.
Right, I think I emailed you.
Yeah, they email me.
You just bug the crap out of
channel.
me. You bug the crap out of me, and then I know.
And then I'll see it.
Yeah, of course.
And then I'll read it and then take that to heart, whatever you guys say.
Right, and I don't know like how much I'll be doing in terms of being on this YouTube channel since we live on different sides of the country. But if you ever want to reach me, my website is right below us, chesssummit.com. So that's 3 S's back to back to back. But bear with us here. We come out with weekly articles. We just added Jennifer Yu on staff. We also have I am elect David Brodsky, who is probably one of the funniest writers you will ever see.
Pound for pound, the best writer in the world right
now,
in terms of chess.
I'm not even insulted by the fact you said that.
He's very. he's like 14-year-old kid.
Yes, he is. He is very talented. I've learned something from him. He writes once every other week for us, alongside Balin Lee, who helped me prep for this game, Grant Zhu, 3-time defending Pennsylvania state champion, and Alice Dong, the national master Michelle Kova. So we've got a great staff over at chesssummit.com. Kostya has even written for us in the past. Hopefully, will be a part of us to some extent, either with streams or posts.
I'll write an article, the behind the scenes of the Reykjavik Open.
That would be great.
Yeah, so some stuff went down tonight.
Well, I don't know if our audiences really want to know everything that went down. Or how it resulted in us making a YouTube video from 1 to 2:30 in the morning. We've got to be like the only people ever in the history of chess to be doing it this way. But that's because we care about you guys, the fans. We knew that you guys were watching, wondering, and looking at it as like, hey, it's like 1:30. Why didn't they come out with a video? Well, this is why we were making it, because we care about you guys, and we hope you guys really enjoyed this 10-video series.
Yeah. So until next time.
Until next time. All right. See you guys.